at 4LG Studios. We're here with Scott, Harry and Matt, is it?
That's it.
Got that correct?
Good work. Some of your best work, mate. Like it.
I'm on a roll. And we're here, these guys have created a podcast called the Armchair Experts. So we're going to interview these guys, talk about their journey and what type of content they're producing. So who wants to kick it off? What is the Armchair Experts?
So, mate, Armchair Experts, basically, I guess where it started for us is, I know I consider myself a pretty average athlete. I know Matt will disagree with that statement. He's quite elite. But I guess I've always believed that sport's a really good conversation starter. So I think if you can talk about sport, you can kind of talk to anyone, anywhere in the world. I've had cab drivers in LA that I've spoken to about cricket. When I first came to long range, didn't know anyone. I could talk about the football on TV. So I've always thought sport's just a great way to start a conversation. I guess when Matt moved here last year, we're both school teachers. We found it at lunchtime in the playground. We just found we're having lots of conversations, lots of banter about things that were happening in the sporting world. And I thought to myself, well, this is something that I would enjoy listening to. Not that we're speaking anything that was high, highly thought of or very intelligent, but it just was kind of like a funny kind of back and forth. So I kind of wanted to explore how to do that. And then we brought Harry on board to kind of, was doing a digital kind of thing at uni. I don't know much more than that. And so Harry said, yeah, I could produce a podcast, and then we kind of kicked it off, and yeah, that's how it kind of started.
So now you're a comedic trio, talking all things sport.
It's nice of you to say that, Macca.
Yeah.
We don't see ourselves as comedians. We see ourselves as just blokes that are sitting on the couch talking average things that every average day sports fans are talking about. And if people find that humorous, that's fantastic. And Macca, you enjoyed some of the stuff we were bringing to the table.
You started talking about haircuts, and I was in the room, and
that was nothing based on what I saw, Macca. That was already decided. I've got it written down somewhere. I did see the impressive hair on your head, but I didn't. That wasn't why we talked about it.
Just a quick one, Macca. How long since a haircut, mate? Has it been a little while, or
it's been about 6 years now, I think.
6 years, fair dinkum. Jeez.
Couldn't last. I was saying 3 weeks for me, so yeah, 6 years. I take my hat off to you, mate.
Yeah, sure.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So how did this journey start? What inspired you guys, other than meeting everyone, to sort of kick it off? Like, was there any other influences involved?
Oh, well, I suppose Advanced Queensland hosted a dinner. They brought a lot of sort of entrepreneurs out here. Two of the big ones that really helped us go along was Chris Titley and Steve Baxter. And we sort of got talking to them a bit, and they were like, yeah, just keep going, mate, like just giving us lots of advice. And it just sort of grew from, well, it started off as me and Scott, then Matt joined in a sort of crappy back office with lots of echo, and we eventually ended up in the 4LG studio here, and we're got a few big name sort of interviews, and it's just kept growing, really.
Mate, I've got to be honest, when I met Steve Baxter, and I think he'd had a few, I'd had a few, so I was feeling, I had a bit of Dutch courage, and I just said to him, Chris Tilley said, oh, Scott, this is Steve Baxter, tell him about your podcast. And I felt like I was on the episode Shark Tank. And he said to me, oh, how many listeners have you got? And I said, right now, probably 6 or 7. And he's like, 100. And I said, no, like 6 or 7, like us, and then probably like my parents. And his advice to us, and it probably is where it kind of kicked things off even bigger for us, was get sports people on and have a chat to them as average blokes on the street. Like, the feel is that we want to ask questions to people that average people are thinking. So Steve Baxter actually organised our first guest, which was Paul the Chief Harrigan. Mac, I know you're a big fan of Paul Harrigan's. You said you're a rugby league aficionado.
That's completely incorrect.
Yeah, but so, that was the first guest we had, and it wouldn't have been because of Steve Baxter. That kind of got the ball rolling, so we used his name as a bit of credibility. Steve got us in contact with that, and that's how we started interviewing athletes. So,
which boosted your audience a bit?
We think so. We, we're very amateur, and that's we say amateur athletes. We're kind of amateur in the podcast game. Like I think we think our audience is massive. We don't know the exact figures. No. That's something we want to try to explore, is how we kind of work out how many people we are reaching. So we're just, at this stage, we're just happy. We enjoy doing it. So, I think having someone like Paul Harrigan on, I think there would be people that are interested in that, and hopefully it just grows as we get those guests on to talk to.
It's raw and authentic.
Yeah.
And people love that.
Yeah, well, that's exactly, we hope so. And we enjoy it, and that's the thing. Like, if we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't do it. Like, we're not getting paid or anything like that. We just genuinely enjoy, each other's company most of the time. So it's good.
Awesome stuff, guys. Well, is there any way our audience can come and check out your podcast? Where do they go to find it?
So we've got a Facebook page. That's Armchair Experts. So that's ever popular. I think it's grown by about 200 last year. So that's pretty exciting. And our Twitter is @ArmchairEX.
And you can find the podcast on the iTunes store. Just search for Armchair Experts, or on SoundCloud under the same name.
Awesome stuff, guys.
And we can't let you finish. Matt's got to tell. We need we say we're amateur, but I know Matt's on Facebook Live and he wants to talk about his career, and he is a genuine athlete. So Harry and I play ourselves off at Matt. Just tell Macca who he's sitting with today.
Let's dive down.
Well, listen, Mackie, you're talking to one of the greats of Rockhampton football. Look, the joke is the boys take Mickey out of me because of, they call themselves amateur athletes. I cringe with that because I've played at a decent level. So I cop a little bit of stick from the audience and from the boys. So that's a little part of our shtick that we bring to the table. But I probably do fit myself, when I'm speaking humbly, into the amateur athlete field, unfortunately, Macca.
You said that to 100,000 people.
Yeah, I know. I just never made it. I'm still holding out that I might get drafted by Carlton at the age of 32 and 104 kilos, but things are looking grim, Macca. It's not looking good. So, anyway, this might have to do for now, I suppose.
Awesome stuff, guys. Well, I don't know what else to add to that. Is there anything else, any inspiring tips that you want to give to anyone starting out their own podcast or show to help them get going? Because it is a pretty tough gig when you're not being paid, right? And you've got other things to do.
Well, I guess the thing with podcasts is anyone can do it, and that's kind of shown by how many podcasts there are actually out there. Like anyone can, get a recording device and start talking through it. That's kind of all we've done. And I guess with us, I think that the trick for us is just to enjoy it. So have fun. Don't be too worried about how many people are or aren't listening to what you're putting out there. You got to start somewhere. Like we had a couple of little technical sound issues that we've worked ourselves through. So I guess like anything, showing a bit of resilience, and like Matt's had to do in his football career. You get knocked down, he picks himself back
I should
up.
Also add that we have been extremely fortunate that we were able to access this building. So the 4LG Studios, the hub of radio in Longreach. So we've been to have access to this equipment has just been massive. So we never take that for granted. So we really appreciate that, and it's made our sound a little bit more crisp, Macca.
And I guess on that, like Laura Grant, she runs the studio out here, and she's just been a massive supporter of us. And we come and we use this facility, lots of afternoons, and lets us have a key and come in and record and do what we need to do. So, that's part of being in a small town too. Like we're really lucky that, small town, if you're doing something cool, people want to get behind you. Yeah. Hopefully we can, if people listen to us, and we're trying to give the businesses in town a bit of a pump up as well. We're always talking about, the Merino Bakery pies, the birdcage, and the RSL crumb steak. So, and people, a lot of our guests have said we'd love to come out to Longreach and, have a couple of beers with you. So, if we can bring people to the Central West, well, that's our job done too. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Great stuff. So promoting tourism, collaborating with others.
Yeah, just ticks all the boxes, mate.
Having a good time.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, boys. And I look forward to checking out your podcast when I get home.
No problem.
Too easy, mate.
Cheers,
We'll
mate.
give you a shout out.
Yeah, check it.
Cheers, bud.
See ya.